I thought would be interesting is to really get into like, you've had such a like an eclectic career in life, working as an actress and a singer, and all the things
Thanks.
you've done in terms of your career trajectory. Like, what's interesting is what are the real like successes and failures you've had, and how do you apply those in your life now? But also, what are the lessons you've taken from those things? So, like, say starting with, like, what are some of the things that maybe you failed at that you either were surprised by or that taught you a really valuable lesson?
Okay, so something I failed at was, managing personal difficulties, but then meeting deadlines of like meetings or auditions. Like I remember I was going through, there was a time where certain people in my life were using drugs, and it was really affecting me, and it to the point where I'd be crying, and it just was really weighing on my spirit. And I had a really big callback for a TV show, and I was late. And I wasn't late because of anybody specifically. I was late just because I was stressed out and having a rough time in life, and I wasn't thinking clearly. I wasn't setting my alarm, and I had prepared for it, but I didn't prepare well enough
Yeah.
to make my priority being booking this job.
Right.
My priority was worrying about everybody else. And anyways, I missed the callback. Right when I was pulling into park, my agents called and said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I just got here. I had a really rough day." And they said, "Well, Amy, unfortunately, this makes us look bad. And for that reason, we're going to have to let you go."
Wow.
And my agency dropped me as an actress, and I started crying, and I said, "Listen, I'm going through something. I have family members that are addicted to drugs, and it's really been affecting me, and my car broke down." And they would go, great, I'm sorry, we totally understand, that's really rough, and we think you should take some time to get some help, but unfortunately that doesn't matter when it comes to this or that.
Yeah.
And so the hard thing in life was I had to take responsibility and not blame people in my life for what they were going through, and not use that as an excuse to be late and to miss important meetings and callbacks.
Well, what's been a thing that, let's say, for example, how do you apply it now? Because none of us can control what happens, right? Like,
Right.
these things can happen tomorrow, and like,
Well, yeah.
so
There's been times, where I've had a really big audition, and like my husband and I got in a huge fight that morning, and I had to like block it out before I go to the audition and be in a good mood, and it's like that like, oh,
Yeah.
But that's all taught me that one thing has nothing to do with the other.
right.
And I know now to block certain things out and to put things on hold and kind of compartmentalize. And if someone's going through something, also I'm in therapy now. Like really, I'm in therapy. I go to online church. I know we're in lockdown, so I read my Bible, I pray, I worship, I have people I talk to and I vent to, and there's a lot of things I've learned in therapy to help me deal with like how to manage everything. And I'm not just trying to take on everything by myself and not tell anybody, and like, not ask for help. I've asked for help, I'm getting the help, and I'm applying it now. And I will say, like, today, I'm not late for anything.
Yeah.
As far as like auditions or callbacks or deadlines, like if there's an emergency, obviously, that's different.
And I think that's the process of growing up, right? Is that like a lot of people when you're young, you almost feel embarrassed to ask for help, or you feel embarrassed like, well, that means I can't do it on my own, right?
Right.
But realistically, no, like getting older helps you become more centered. So then maybe part of not only the therapy but the spirituality and like every element of your life has helped you become more centered.
Yeah.
So that when those times happen, it doesn't throw you off as much.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm able to just say, you know what, God, I'm praying for this person. Help me to focus on this right now. And there's even sometimes where I'll have an audition where I have to be really like emotional, and I'll use the emotion of what I'm going through and just bring it into the audition. Yeah. I'm like, hey, why don't I just use it?
Yeah.
For more inspiration. Like, why am I trying to, so
that's the way to do it.
There's I have to just adapt. So I would say that's one of my failures, but it's turned into a success.
So now let's say successes. Was there something that, whether growing up or in your career trajectory that you learned that you saw, well, I maybe didn't see this as a success before,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe now you view it more as a success? Like, is it like, hey, I experienced this thing and I didn't know it would teach me this lesson, but now I'm so grateful because it garnered this certain amount of success for me.
I would say learning to deal with difficult people. I mean, there's different people that you work with in the entertainment industry, and some people have attitudes, some people are very blunt, some people can be very offensive. And one of the greatest tools I think I've learned is to not take anything personal. And I still, not going to say I'm perfect at it, but I kind of have like a guard up in a sense to where I go, okay, this person disrespected me. Let's work it out, you know. And I've even been able to go at it with different representation I have about things that we don't agree on and say, hey, I would appreciate it if you didn't do this or that. And that really bothered me. And then in the end, we build a stronger working relationship.
Yeah.
They're working harder for me. I'm working harder for them. And I'm like, wow, we just like bumped heads. But instead of me like going off on you, like we worked it out.
Yeah.
I feel closer to this person now, and I feel like we have a stronger relationship.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, being able to stand up for yourself.
Yes.
Say what you want and
Yep.
know that your voice matters.
Not being a people pleaser.
Right. Because that's a
And
big thing. So many of us go
Standing
through.
up for yourself.
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah, because it creates a situation where I think one of the funny formulas is that we think that if we do everything one person wants,
Yeah.
that things are going to be great. But a lot of
Right.
times too, that person doesn't really know what they want, and maybe your input helps them figure that out better, right?
Right.
Or you get to a better overall answer because I have part of what I want and part of what you want, and now I can make a complete answer.
Yeah,
Right? Like, so-
exactly.
But knowing that you have to speak up,
And
knowing that you
also
have do
to
that.
just understand, you know, everyone's going through different things that we know nothing about.
Right.
For all I know, this person that just offended me their mom could have cancer in the hospital right now and have a month to live, and they could have just lost somebody in their life or had a death in the family, and they could just be grumpy that day, and I could have triggered them and reminded them of something to the point where they couldn't control themselves and they just lashed out.
Yeah.
So instead of me saying, how could they do this to me?
Yeah.
I could say, you know what? They must be going through a lot right now. Maybe I should just let them know what's acceptable for me and what's not, and we could start over.
Yeah.
And just that lesson alone has given me some of the greatest relationships and
Yeah.
given me so much understanding because, I mean, especially for me, like I had developed PTS over a few years ago over some traumas that I had, and I had to go into therapy about it. And out of nowhere, like I would just like lash out or like slam a table or weird things would happen.
Yeah.
And it gave me more understanding to other people to be
Yeah.
like, hey, you know, they're not, they could just be going through something like I'm going through something. And thank God now I have tools, and I feel like I'm so much further than I was even
Yeah.
last year, you know, but just understanding that everyone's going through something that you know nothing about and try not to take things personal.
Yeah. No, I think everything you're saying just kind of, you know, reminds me that we all have these little struggles as we grow up, and we don't really exactly know what to do with them and about them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that I think getting older and becoming more mature helps you realize that, oh, you know what, like this is not going to end me. This is not going to be the end of something. Oh,
Right.
that thing I really wanted, I didn't get it. Life. So like,
Exactly.
you know, those kinds of things. And once you get past some of those things, you start to realize, well, yeah, that sucks, but I'll figure out something else, or I'll get to the next stage of something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like, I guess I'd love to just hear your thoughts on, again, because I'm such a big proponent of helping, you know, younger people really understand these things. Like what, again, you're talking to 18-year-old Amy, right? And you're
gosh.
going to have to tell her.
Crazy 18-year-old Amy.
Crazy 18-year-old Amy,
Let's go.
right? You're going to have to tell her that she's going to have ups and downs.
Yeah.
But like, what's the best advice you could give her that when she fails, what to do, and when she succeeds, what to do?
I would say, Amy, when you fail, give yourself time to cry and boohoo and get over it, but also know that everything is working out for your good. And this is not the end of your story. Your book, your story, your chapter in life is not over. This is just one part of it, something you can learn from.
Okay. And then what about she has a success? Like, what's the thing that you would tell her, like, how to do it?
Amy, don't let it get to your head. God is blessing you right now. enjoy it, but be humble because it can be taken away like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that because it's
And trust me, I remember I booked a few like big commercials in my early, like, I don't know, I think I was like 22, like, and I spent it all on high heels.
Yeah. Because you think I'm going to get another one.
Oh, I got obsessed with shoes, and I would
Yeah.
go to this specific shoe store on Ventura Boulevard, and I would buy like 3 pairs of shoes every week. And the lady's like, I've got new ones coming in next week, and I'd be there. And then one day I looked at my account, and I'm like,
Yeah.
where's all my money? What did I do?
Yeah. It's in the closet. Yeah.
It's all in my shoes.
Yeah. Right. So
You
then
know?
the lesson is stay even keeled. Don't get too low. Don't get too high. But know that this is part of the journey.
Yeah, and don't spend all your money on flashy stuff. Like I was that girl that got a Land Rover with my first big check, and
Yeah.
you know, I did overspend when I first got money, and I learned the hard way to act like I don't got any money.
Yeah. Well, it's a great lesson to learn.
Okay,
now.
you're the finance guy, so is that a good
No, I think
way?
so.
Is that a good perception?
I think so. I mean, you know, I tend not to look at my accounts, especially the ones that are for retirement that I know I'm putting money away. But, you know, and definitely I agree. It's like being even keeled does something with you that like.
Would you say that's being balanced?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because it's just not allowing yourself to go, oh, I had a win. I'm always going to have a win. I had a loss. I'm always going to have a loss. You're
That's
not,
good. That's
right?
really good.
I think that's the lesson we want to leave people with.
I love
just
it.
Not get out of whack. Just
Be even keel.
There you go. Hey everybody, I'm Adam Khalil. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I definitely want you to subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more content like this. But if this content had any value to you, click the like button as well.